The Supplementary Retirement Scheme, or SRS, is one of the best ways to reduce your income tax in Singapore, other than being a working mom, of course. That one can save even more tax. Yet, despite how useful it can be, many people are still unsure about whether they should contribute. Some worry that their money will be locked out for too long, while others contributed to SRS to save taxes, only to leave close to $3.9 billion idle money in there, gathering dust and 0.05% interest. That's why in this video, we are going to break down everything you need to know about SRS, how the scheme works, how much tax savings you can expect, when it makes sense to contribute, how to plan your withdrawals, and what you can invest in using your SRS funds. And with that being said, let's first start with the basics. So, to put it simply, the SRS is a voluntary scheme that allows you to reduce your taxable income while setting money aside for your retirement. For Singaporeans and PRs, the maximum amounts you can contribute to SRS every year is $15,300, and for foreigners, the cap is higher at $35,700. So let's say you earn $40,000 this year. Assuming you have no other tax reliefs, your income tax payable would be $550 based on the current residence tax rates. But if you contribute $15,300 to SRS, your chargeable income drops from $40,000 down to $24,700. At this lower income level, your tax payable falls to just $94. This means your SRS contribution saved you around $456 in taxes. Yay! Now, of course, just because you can contribute to SRS to save on taxes does not always mean that it makes sense to do so. Sometimes, if your income level isn't too high, the tax savings may be simply too small to justify setting your money aside for such a long period. In that case, it is usually better to focus on building up money for your short and mid-term needs, such as your emergency fund, home renovation, childcare expenses, or any other major purchases that may be coming up over the next few years. These are the priorities that should come first before locking up your cash into a retirement scheme. However, once you are in a much higher tax bracket, things will start to look very different. For example, if you can earn $120,000 a year, contributing $15,300 to SRS would save you about $1,759.50 in taxes. And that is huge, because that money is already enough for a short holiday trip in Japan or several months of groceries, utilities, and toilet paper. So what this means is that if you are in the lower income range, say around $50,000 or less, the tax savings from SRS are decent, but not life-changing. It is only when you cross into the six-figure income levels that taxes will start to hurt. And that is when it starts to make more sense to consider contributing to SRS as a way to reduce your taxes. Also, take note that there's a $80,000 personal income tax relief cap. This is especially important for working mothers because working moms receive substantial tax reliefs such as working mother child relief, qualifying child relief, and the grandparent caregiver relief. So if your reliefs have already hit the $80,000 cap, topping up SRS will no longer reduce your taxes. Next, let's talk about the withdrawal rules. To begin with, you can only make penalty-free withdrawals from SRS after you reach your statutory retirement age that is tied to your SRS account. This statutory retirement age depends on when you open the account and make your very first contribution. For example, the statutory retirement age right now is 63 years old. So if you open your SRS accounts today and contribute at least $1, you will be able to withdraw from your SRS account penalty-free once you turn 63. However, from 1st of July 2026, this withdrawal age will be raised to 64. And by 2030, it will increase again to 65. So if you only open and fund your SRS accounts after July 2026, your penalty-free withdrawal age will be fixed at 64 instead of 63. What this means is that if you want to lock in your SRS withdrawal age at 63, you will need to open an SRS account and contribute at least $1 before 1st of July 2026. Now, after you reach your statutory retirement age, you will be given a 10-year window from the date of your first penalty-free withdrawal to withdraw your money, and during this period, only 50% of each withdrawal will be subjected to income tax. He's speaking the language of gods. So, for example, let's say you have 400k in your SRS account at age 63. If you withdraw 40k a year, only 50% of that amount, which is 20k, will be subject to tax. But because the first 20k of chargeable income in Singapore is tax-free, assuming you don't have any other income, you will end up paying zero tax on your SRS withdrawal. So if you plan it right, you will not have to pay any taxes on your SRS withdrawals throughout the entire 10-year withdrawal period. Now, just in case you're wondering, what happens if I don't withdraw all of my SRS money within that 10-year withdrawal period? Your SRS accounts will explode. Just kidding. Whatever balance you leave inside can continue to stay inside your SRS account. However, 50% of the remaining amount will be treated as taxable income once the 10-year window ends. However, even if you happen to have more than 400k in your SRS, there's actually a way to plan things so that you will not be left with a large taxable balance at the end of the 10 years. And that is by investing your SRS funds into a life annuity. That's because when you use your SRS money to purchase a life annuity, the usual 10-year withdrawal window does not apply. Instead of forcing you to withdraw everything within 10 years, the annuity converts your lump sum into a stream of lifelong payouts. And each payout will still enjoy the same 50% tax concession. Now, this doesn't mean you can't withdraw from your SRS before the statutory retirement age. If you want to withdraw early, can is can, but the entire withdrawal will become taxable and you will also incur a 5% penalty on the amount withdrawn. While this may sound harsh, it can also be a good thing if you think about it. For example, when you are deciding whether to top up money to CPF or SRS, the biggest difference is how accessible your money is. For CPF, even though you get to earn a guaranteed 4 to 5% interest, you can't withdraw and get back your money at all, which means even if you encounter an emergency, you simply can't touch the money. SRS, on the other hand, gives you the flexibility. Yes, there's a penalty for taking the money out early, but you are not completely locked out of your funds. So even if something unexpected happens, you can still withdraw from SRS, pay the 5% penalty, and get access to your cash. Now, with that being said, there are actually a few situations where you can withdraw from SRS early without having to pay the 5% penalty. These include scenarios such as physical or mental incapacity, terminal illness, and even bankruptcy. In these cases, you will not have to pay the 5% penalty when you withdraw. And for situations other than bankruptcy, only 50% of the amount you withdraw will be subject to income tax, just like a normal retirement withdrawal. Also, if you are a foreigner, you can even make a lump sum withdrawal 10 years after your first contribution without having to pay the 5% penalty. Though, note that the tax treatment is different for foreigners, and there will either be a 15% or 24% withholding tax, depending on your tax residency status at the time of withdrawal. And no, this does not mean that you immediately lose up to 24% of your money. The withholding is just temporary because they're scared you run away with the money. After IRS completes its tax assessment, any extra money will be refunded back to you. Now, once you have contributed to SRS, what can you actually do with the money? Because if you leave the money untouched, it will just sit there earning a very sad 0.05% interest, which is basically nothing lah. So to make your SRS work for you, you need to invest the money. And the good thing is that there are a lot of investment options available under SRS. Depending on your risk appetite and investment horizon, you can choose from low-risk options like Singapore savings bonds, treasury bills, fixed deposits, all the way to higher risk options such as individual stocks, ETFs, unit trusts, and even global advisor portfolios. I won't go through each of them because I've covered them in this video. But for most beginners, the most flexible and beginner-friendly way to invest your SRS fund is through ETFs and unit trusts. These are essentially baskets of stocks that allow you to spread your investments across hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. This diversification reduces your risk dramatically because instead of having to worry about picking the right stock, you are effectively picking all the stocks. You won't pick the wrong stocks if you pick all of the stocks. For ETFs and unit trusts, the three most common markets people invest in are the Singapore market, the US market, and the global market, each one with its own advantages. The Singapore market offers stability and a familiar home ground advantage, especially if you prefer investing in companies you recognize and trust. The US market offers stronger long-term growth, although it does come with significantly more volatility. Meanwhile, the global markets give you broad diversification across many countries around the world, so you aren't just relying on any single economy to do well. When it comes to investing your SRS funds into ETFs and unit trusts, the three cheapest platforms are Poems, FSMOne, and StashAway through their newly launched ETF Explorer. Poems charges a 0.08% fee with no minimum commission, while FSMOne charges a flat $3.80 fee per trade. And even though StashAway ETF Explorer only charges a $1 trading fee, all of its ETFs are denominated in US dollar. So you will also be charged a 0.22% currency conversion spread whenever you invest through them. If you plan to invest in the Singapore market, only Poems and FSMOne support Singapore-listed ETFs under SRS. In this case, the cheaper platform depends on your trading size. If you invest less than $4,750 per trade, Poems is cheaper because its fee is charged as a percentage of your investment. But once your trade size exceeds $4,750, FSMOne becomes the more cost-effective option due to its flat $3.80 fee. Meanwhile, for both the US and global markets, Poems and StashAway ETF Explorer offer access to these funds under SRS. Between the two, StashAway ETF Explorer is generally the more cost-effective option over the longer term after accounting for the trading fee, the currency conversion spread, and the impact of dividend withholding tax. However, the main downside of StashAway ETF Explorer is that you can only choose the theme that you want to invest in, and not the specific ETF. So if you want more control over your portfolio and prefer selecting the exact ETF to invest in, Poems would be more suitable. At the end of the day, SRS is a very powerful tool for saving your taxes and building up your retirement nest egg. But only if you use it correctly. It's not meant for everyone, and it works best when your income is high enough to set money aside for the long term without affecting your day-to-day finances. If that is the case for you, then SRS can easily save you thousands of dollars in taxes over the years, while helping you build a more comfortable and secure retirement. Anyway, hope you found this video useful. Like, share and subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every week.